Hello, everyone. So we're back about a quarter before the hour, and we have JD Seraphine from Vision Tree, who's building the documentary, the Dragonchain show. We don't have a name for it, right?
Crypto.
Yeah,
Basically, it's a documentary about Dragonchain and Joe's story, and also the evolution of cryptocurrency in the U.S.
And it's all woven together. It's a very nice thing. And so we met in 2017, right? So
It was actually, I think it was
2018.
2017 or the very beginning of
That's right.
2018. Yeah.
And a number of my friends reached out and said, you need to talk to JD, and it was really interesting. So we talked on the weekend, and you were up in the office like in 2 or 3 days after that, talking to us about your project, which we'll go into, and I took the opportunity to pitch this idea that I had wanted to do something that was kind of a mix of comedy with a little bit of what actually happens in a real world crypto project, real stuff, and that Jonell had thought I was totally joking about. He didn't know I was serious, right? And JD took it up, and he gave us some really good ideas and kind of started putting stuff together. So.
Yeah. Well, and anytime you're making a project that kind of takes on a life of its own, and you follow it where it goes. And so, first it was, getting to know you and the company, and then looking at the overall space and saying, well, how can we tell your story, but also tell a story, not just to like the people in crypto who already are aware, or kind of understand the value of what's going on in this space, but actually bring something to the masses to get the story out about what is the possibility, the potential of this movement. And I think that's what actually got me really excited, and I became passionate about, actually in getting to know you, I became really passionate about the potential for blockchain to solve so many of these major things in the world. And so we have the Atari movie we're doing with Leonardo DiCaprio and his production company, and that was actually the big project that brought us in to kind of look at, okay, how do we leverage tokenization and blockchain for our own project and for our own projects going forward. And that's, the film and entertainment space is in terrible need of disruption and innovation. And so we've been looking at it and starting to develop some different ways to innovate and create new ways for the community and audience to get involved, and bringing a little more democratization, a little bit more decentralization, a little bit of co-ownership. And so that's, in terms of the documentary series, the show will be coming out in, say, early summer, late spring of this year. We're finalizing with a major U.S. Cable broadcaster right now, and we're actually setting it up on a platform with Coin, which is a utility token project that we've been developing with Joe, actually as our interim CTO, to roll out a platform where the community, you guys, will be able to own a small piece of the documentary. So in the next, I'd say 60 days, there'll be an announcement that you guys will, get through the Dragonchain channels, and you'll be able to come onto the Vision Tree portal, and you'll be able to participate in owning a small piece of the documentary series. And the main purpose of that is we want, the community to have that ownership and help us drive the success. And we believe in that philosophy, which I think is really kind of baked into the DNA of the whole kind of crypto blockchain movement. So
right. And will it be the first project on the platform for the tokenization?
Yeah, so it'll be the Atari movie will be on there, this project, and then we have one or two others. So it'll be in that first wave that we launch with. And so, I think the platform, the focus for it will be to focus mainly on media and technology projects to start, just because there's a natural synergy there in terms of raising capital and bringing that community-owned kind of tokenized ecosystem, if you will. We're excited. This will be the first TV series that I'm aware of that's leveraging crypto and blockchain in this way. And so the goal will be in a short window, we'll be able to demonstrate how this community fractionalized ownership system, with tokens, can, share value in a new way in terms of how people are interacting with the content, getting to own some of the content, and then sharing in the profits and the revenues that come, from the content itself. So that's, we in the next, 6 to 9 months are going to demonstrate that, at scale for a TV series, a documentary series, which is going to feature Joe and Dragonchain. So it's a perfect synergy.
It'll be fun. And you guys have been, since shortly after we talked, you've been filming and putting together a lot of different things, for quite a while. So finally getting it out, and it's a lot of work. So
yeah, we're excited to finally get it out there. And
yeah.
It's been a journey, and just seeing Dragonchain and seeing you guys grow, it's been exciting too. And even where we're sitting today, it's like, I remember when we first met, and it was like you guys were pushing towards just launching the platform,
right?
Right. And now here we are a couple of years later, and you guys are, scaling at a transactions per second that's greater than, the biggest chains out there by far, by orders of magnitude faster, but while remaining secure and decentralized. I mean, that's the other thing. You can look at EOS or some of these platforms, and I like those guys, and they all have their own take on how decentralization works.
Yep.
But I know that because of your background of being steeped as like a software architect and a certain philosophy and understanding about, decentralization, liberty, censorship, resistance,
right?
All that kind of stuff. Like there's, in order to get speed, you have to sacrifice something when it comes to decentralization and blockchain, unless you figure out a creative way to do that. And I feel like that's what you guys have kind of done, is like actually shown that there's a way to still have speed without completely sacrificing some of those principles that Bitcoin and some of the early, chains were imbued with.
It's almost like logical, because I consider it less of a sacrifice, more of an intentional context switch, where it's, the things we did wouldn't be good for Ethereum, right? But we're not trying to do what Ethereum's doing. The things that we did, wouldn't be good for EOS or Bitcoin, because they are focused on different goals, right? Which is a beautiful thing, because I still think the more diversity we have in this industry, not only the better off we will be, but the less likely we will fail as an industry, right? Because if everybody's doing the same thing, or we say, oh, there should only be one chain, then there's one target, right? And a lot of people don't want Bitcoin to succeed, and a lot of people don't want any of these projects to succeed. So that's a big part of it, and it's really important. So
no, I think it makes sense, and the way I see it is that the future of, I think, every industry is going to have some element to it that is going to bring in blockchain and decentralization where it makes sense. For our, for media, and for entertainment, I see a future where the audience owning some piece of, the shows or the IP or the revenue is going to be, it's going to be part of the DNA of how things are done.
You have literal ownership, but it's at least people who are interested, which will, in the very least, help you choose the better projects, right? And make those projects successful. It's kind of an interesting take, right? So
I think the democratization piece of it is big, and I think it's going to take time. It's not going to be an overnight thing. I think that it will take years for it to fully take hold, but we're looking to help be there at the foundation to be blazing that trail like we are with the series we're doing with you and Atari and some of these other projects.
And at least there are huge opportunities anytime you have something like that for early adopters, right? So that's why early adopters are so interesting in this industry, where it's not just, I'm going to spend a bunch of money to have the newest phone or the newest gadget. It's, I'm going to invest time or even money to build something that will be ingrained into that technology, that I will be light years ahead of my competition in 3 years. So that's huge. Really neat. So
I think it's amazing, and I think the future is going to be people are going to own the companies they love. Like that's where the future is heading. I think before it's like if you liked to rep Nike or you liked to rep Adidas or you liked to rep whatever it was, it was like you repped it by wearing it and kind of showing it off. And I think the future will be that brands will get this at some point sooner or later, and I think it's going to require new systems of fractionalized ownership, and how we share and how we move value using systems that can account for that in real time in a digital world.
Yep.
And I think that these systems, the blockchain powered systems, will lay the foundation for the ownership society of the future, which will be, I own a piece of the brand that I love.
It's
I don't
much
just
better,
wear it, right?
far better loyalty system than what is typically considered a loyalty. You know, how many points do I have on some card? You know, this becomes much more valuable because the scarcity, tradability, provability, and the ability to make it so that not only am I loyal to that airline, but that airline is loyal to me, right? That becomes the real, because if the airline isn't loyal to me, another airline could see, oh, this is a loyal customer to that airline who's screwing around now. I'm going to grant them the same scores. I'm going to bring them in. I have a new customer, right? That's where it all changes, because, and I think a lot of them don't get that yet, but it's coming. So it's all right.
It is coming, exactly.
Yes.
No,
I want to get you on record.
Yes.
To be an extra in the Atari movie, right?
Yes,
Okay.
Joe will be
Okay,
in the
good.
Atari movie. So when we eventually film it and it comes out, you'll see Joe. He'll be one of the engineers, like a hippie.
Yeah, I had to. Yeah.
He might even be smoking something in the movie, but we'll leave that. We'll leave that out for interpretation.
All right.
So,
very good.
But thank you again, and I honestly think the community, the Dragonchain community, is one of the best that I've seen. And just looking around, and I think it's part of it is in how you guys engineered it.
It's a very culturally rich community. I mean, we have things that are little things that if you're in the community that are. It's interesting they developed, but almost entirely it was because we were so worried early on that people were going to get screwed around by fraud and stuff like that when we went out. Coming from Disney and everything else, it really worried us. So we educated out the wazoo everybody. So and it was amazing because you had normies that were educating other people then, right? And I can't even describe how valuable that was, because nobody ever lost any money in our community. It was beautiful, right?
Yeah, that's
from
a rare
all
thing.
the multiple attacks we had. So anyway.
So stay tuned for the rest of the 24-hour live stream.
Yes. So we're going to do a quick 5-minute intermission, then we're going to come back with, I believe it is another short AMA followed by another product demo.